Hello, and welcome back to episode 6 of Chill Builds. We're working on Dragon Hearth. So to start off, I started by setting a place up that we can get up to the church. I wanted it to be sort of a smaller path that sort of switched back and forth a little bit. Turns out that ended up being harder to achieve than I wanted it to, but I did end up getting it figured out. There's multiple avenues to get to the church anyways, so eventually I'm going to build some staircases up inside that wall, up into the wall, and then you can walk in from the wall. And then later on you'll see that wall actually turns into a path around the back. And so people can walk across the wall there over to church as well, or they can walk up these stairs here, just as an extra little convenience. So while I'd imagine a lot of people, if they're religious, decide to sort of converge on this church all at once, while there's a small little stair for everyone to walk up, there's also multiple other paths, so they don't all have to go up that same set of stairs, which makes things a lot easier to work out. So there's more than one way up to the church, or there's going to be, but this was the first way that I built, and then I sort of extended the wall out a little bit over that way as well. And I think this little area turned out pretty nice. I think it looks like the rest of the city in the way that the walls work. I quite like the walls. And then obviously fill out that grass there. If you notice in the intro of the show, sorry, I'm just adjusting where I'm sitting. Don't mind me. If you notice in the intro, Dragon Hearth looks the same as it did in the previous episode. So I haven't redone the intro. That effect is actually really hard to achieve, and I had to do it on my laptop, whereas everything's recorded on my desktop. So just recording it, just even changing the intro is just kind of a pain in the butt. So it'll probably be a little bit before I change the intro, but once I feel like I've gotten to a point where, Dragon Hearth has really grown and it's not really represented well in the intro, that's when I'll change the intro. I'm thinking maybe every 10 episodes or so, I'll update the intro to Dragon Hearth, and we'll go from there, just so that I don't have to do that every single episode, because if I did, it would take forever. This camera angle, I really like this camera angle, where it comes off the roof and then goes over. I was really trying to be creative with some of the camera angles here, so there's another one. This one, I really like this building just because it's kind of hard to tell at this angle, but the logs actually are staggered, so the second floor, the logs don't go straight up. I've staggered them out a little bit, so you can see the stairs lead up, and then there's a trapdoor, and that trapdoor is holding up the second layer of logs rather than the initial logs. Let's count how many times I can say logs in a single video. Anyway, oh my goodness, I like this music. There was a short little shot of me building the bridge as well, I believe. I think that was pretty far off at that angle, but there's our little bridge to cross over into the exit of the city. I really like that bridge. I wanted sort of like a curved bridge, but I didn't want something super fancy like the bridge further up. I just wanted like a simple little bridge because a lot of the people are going to use the castle actually to go across, so that castle does double as a bridge, and then we have that little bridge there just for convenience for people in that area. So hopefully it should be pretty easy to navigate. So far, everything I've built has been accessible by stairs and bridges and stuff, and it seems like it should be pretty easy to build. Or not build. It was not easy to build, I'll tell you what. This was a lot of work. This episode is a culmination of about 3 hours. This is the first time I've had to build a full episode recorded where the build, I sat down and I just kept building, and I did not stop building for the entire duration of the episode. So I never logged out, I never stopped building for this whole whole time lapse. It's just different cuts. I've definitely cut some bits out where I was sort of like thinking about how things worked and stuff, but that's about it. I've really been sort of with these buildings working with that philosophy of sort of everything doesn't need to be insanely complicated. It can be simple. So that's something I sort of try to embody in this build. So I put a little buttons there because it does have to have a little bit more detail than that. Whoop, I just bumped my mic. But anyway, I didn't really detail much more than that. But I like this building. It really fills out the city, which was the whole goal of this episode, was to just fill out the blank spots behind that wall before we move outside the wall and we start to work on sort of the poorer buildings and other things. There'll probably be a few more richer buildings sort of close to the wall up the slope, but then once we get down into the valley, things are going to get a lot cheaper. They're going to feel just not quite as regal and nice and very villagey and homey as these. They're gonna feel like they were built cheaply and just exist. So yeah, those buildings should be a lot easier to build too. And then we'll do certain landmark things like we'll build a market with all sorts of cool stalls and stuff, and we'll build more stables and other things. I need to make a whole list, and I'd be interested to see what you guys want to see built as well. At the point of recording this, still only episode 1 has been released out to the public, and this episode particularly is coming out right before Christmas, I think. Hang on, let me think. Let me look at a calendar here. How are we looking? So episode 2 is coming out on November 24th. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes! So this one will come out on the 22nd, which is right before Christmas. Fun fact, that will be the day before my COVID vaccine anniversary. So on the 23rd of December, 2020 is when I got my first dose of Moderna. So that's fun. But anyway, so Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays or happy cold winter Deathland year. However you want to. Moving on. So this building was a nice little building. I didn't do a second floor on this one, if you didn't notice. I just wanted just a small little building to cram into this little area to make the whole city feel dense and populated, but not too much. And then I popped some roses up there because I wasn't sure how to detail up there, but I thought roses looked good. And then if you see past that lamppost there, that is the next building we're gonna build. So this one, little L shape. I was really trying to determine what kind of shape and what kind of thing I wanted here. This one's gonna be another one with a balcony out front. I think that's the next build. Which one is that? It's not this building. Is it? Oh my goodness, I can't remember. I don't think it is. I do definitely have another one with like balconies out front that people can look out of. I think that one's going to be like a nice, expensive inn. The next one that I'm thinking of. But this one, nice little thing. If you look to the right of the screen, you see that building that has that foundation in it before it builds up. I wanted to do something similar to that, but with cobblestone this time. So that's what I ended up doing. Is just a little cobblestone foundation, and then they built the actual building on top of that foundation, which I thought looked a lot better, just as a little more variety. And then, same old. Similar build technique, similar most things. Oh yeah, the roof was a bit different. Oh my goodness, sometimes the music just hits hard and I love it. Anyway, so the roof was a bit different. Notice how I put logs, a couple extra logs off to the top. That was, I don't know, it's just a small little detail that I don't even think I've articulated what I'm talking about very much. And then I put the nice steep roof here, and then I put a really shallow slanted roof out the back of this one, which I want to say I did again in another build a little later on. So that's sort of a common architectural thing that I've been doing. I just want, sort of two separate roof styles that sort of meld into one is kind of what I was after there. And I think I achieved what I was after pretty well. And it fills out the town nicely, which is what we wanted. We just kind of want to fill out a few more buildings. And then when I finally go back and do the interiors, we'll determine what kind of building each thing is. A lot of them are just going to be houses of just very rich noblemen and the like, that live up close to the entrance to the castle. Because at the end of the day, that wall down there, while it's there to protect the noblemen and stuff, it's also there as a first line of defense, or it's going to be a second line of defense, because there's going to be one more wall. Maybe two, I don't know, but there's going to be another wall. But anyways, it's just one more line of defense before whatever assaulting army, if an army came to assault, were to go after the castle. That's one more wall to protect the castle. So you have to go through that wall to get to the castle. And so the noblemen, they just live really close and behind one of the walls because they are they're important, they're rich, they can afford to live there. So anyways, I built this path here. So this is a nice little path along the side of the mountain that just sort of melds into the wall so that this all fits together a lot better. And I'm thinking I might later on build a little cave so that wall goes further into the mountain, and there's a little cave with like a secret passage up into the castle. I haven't decided yet. I think that would be really cool though, because if I were to dig out a tunnel right there, it would come out right outside the castle. So it would be really neat. But yeah. So there we go. There's our path. I detailed a little bit. It does go up a little bit there and then back down, so there's a little bit of depth because I don't want things to be too flat. At least up here where it's right up against the mountain. Down in the valley, things will get a little flatter, but I really don't want things to be all on the same plane. Everything needs to be, there needs to be variety there with things. So just detailing the path there, and then I should be getting to building another building. Here we go. So this building is going to be right up against the path, and then it's actually going to have an overhang over the path, and then on, up against the mountain. So eventually I'll probably dig out a little bit and have part of the building up in the mountain. So that'll be pretty fun to build, but that's not something I've done yet. Again, I kind of want to do the interiors on stream, so if you're interested in a stream like that, comment, let me know. Which, speaking of comments, I always appreciate comments. Comments are fun. They're good. They offer me good input. On the first episode, which is the only episode that's been out as I'm recording this, they actually someone corrected me. I could not remember what shutters were. I couldn't remember the word for shutters. I've remembered it now because they've told me. So that's what all those trapdoors up against windows and stuff are meant to sort of imitate, are shutters. I've definitely stretched that definition a little bit with how I've put the shutters down, but with this one, I believe I used those shutter trapdoors on some closed windows because of the way the building works. I can't really make an open window. I can just make a closed one with the shutters, and it works out pretty well. It's a lot better to detail that way. When you can't put a window, you can just put some closed shutters in there. And then if you see in the bottom left there, you can actually see I've got some trapdoors, some dark oak trapdoors. And that's a similar way. You could say that those are windows with some closed shutters and stuff like that. So, and then the two in the middle have some spruce trapdoors as their shutters. Yeah. So I fill this out. So the interior of this building is definitely pretty small. But like I said, I do want to dig out the other side. And this one I'm thinking is actually going to be, thinking on it now, this one would be a good one to call the barracks. Also, this really annoyed me when I went back to record everything in a replay mod. Look at the roof, right? There's one bit of wall that I haven't filled in yet, just on the roof there to the right. And I don't know why I did that. I just forgot or something, and it just driving me crazy to watch. And this is the second time I've had to watch it happen because I did the replay viewer. But I do fix it. I do go back and fix it eventually. So there we go. There's me doing some closed shutters and then some open shutters. And then I come back and fill it in finally. My gosh. And I'll detail that one as well. And then put some flowers in there. Make it look all pretty. And there you go. And now we're on to our last building of this episode. This one's the one I was talking about balconies. And this one I think will be an inn of some sort. That's maybe a little bit of a richer inn than even the other one that we built. That's maybe an inn and maybe not. Maybe the other one's like just a very swanky apartment building or something. I don't know. Or maybe this one's the swanky apartment building and that one is the inn. Well, that's just something we'll decide when we do the interiors of all of these buildings on a stream. So there's me just floating around thinking about stuff. And then there we go. There I put the fences in. I sort of change it around. I like the fence gates a bit better. Instead of a fence gate in the middle and then two fences on either side, I rather a fence gate on either side and a fence in the middle. Just because it looks a little bit better. And then here we do the roof. Pretty standard roof. Same roof as I've always done. So there you go. So, and there's one thing that I've been really pushing the members of the server to do, that the admin of the server is really the person who has to do that. But if you have played a lot of Minecraft or you watch a lot of Minecraft, there's a data pack called the Armor Stand data pack that lets you pose armor stands in certain positions, and it's a really cool tool because not only can you pose the armor stands, but you can make them invisible, so you can put things in their hands, like an item in an armor stand's hand, and then make the armor stand hold that item in a particular position, and then make the armor stand itself invisible so that the item is just there. So you can put items on the ground, you can hang items in tool, like you can hang tools up and things like that. It's such a great tool especially for interior decorating that I'd really like to do at some point, but I don't foresee it coming anytime soon, but I'm gonna bring it up every day until it happens. That person should be going home for Christmas soon, and when they go home for Christmas, that's where the server's hosted, and maybe they can do it then. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But anyway, so the last little bits and patches of green, I just filled with some trees as well. I did this fun little swirly motion that I'm sort of starting to regret a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. But then there you go. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. I promise there was no camera rotation on that shot. It just after that previous one. But yeah, so this is Dragon Hearth as we have it so far. The camera motion on this particular shot isn't the greatest, but just to give you an experience of what it's like to walk through Dragon Hearth, we've got this long little shot at the end here. So there you go. That's Dragon Hearth, episode 6, and we're just flying through this town. I really think it's a beautiful little town. Look at the moon up there, shining bright. Little reflections in the water. It's so gorgeous. I think the shader is fantastic. Maybe I should start putting the shader link in the description, actually, thinking on it. That would be pretty cool. So I guess you'll probably see it in the description for a lot of them, because I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put the shader in the description of all of the episodes I have. And then there we go. There's Dragon Hearth. Kind of wish I had hovered on that shot a little longer, but then there's our final shot, and we're done. See you next time.